I am not a licensed therapist or psychologist, nor am I fit to give proper advice to any topic. Take my words with a grain of salt to form your own reflections. Reading the comments is advised.
Hello, and welcome back to the show that I discuss my opinion on things as if it's a 4 a.m. Discord call with the boys. Before I start today's video, be sure to check out the inbox in the description below if you ever want your topic to be included in the show. Comments on your opinions are appreciated. This one's a bit of a long one, but is this really what adult life is supposed to look like? I'm about to start my first full-time job after graduation. It pays decently. Not enough to rent a nice apartment alone, but still better than what most people get in their first position in their country. It's not physically demanding, the environment seems fine, and I'll be able to save something for a while and eat good and live in okay conditions. I'm staring at this schedule thinking, is this it? Do we really just exist during the week? And then frantically try and cram all of living into 2 days on the weekend? Again, I know I'm starting from a place of privilege. Many people work harder jobs for longer hours for less pay, with less security. But I can't shake the feeling that even with a good job, something about this system feels off. Like the framework of our lives is designed for us to be productive, but not fulfilled. Am I missing something? Is this just what adulthood looks like? And he then gives examples for what a standard 9 to 5 might look like. And I'm sure you can kind of put that in your own head a little bit. What he's getting at. Going into your first full-time job, it's a standard 40 hours a week. Some people work more, some people work less. Say, for example, you work 40 hours minimum a week. And that could usually range from 4 10s to 5 8s to however you want to put it. As, when you're being a high schooler, you don't think much of it. You work you do your 7 hours of school, and then most of you will be doing part-time jobs, maybe working, 15 hours a week in the afternoons. And, that's a pretty good example of what being on your own is like in terms of hours. If you work that, you'll start to realize, man, I woke up, did school, went to work, came home, and now I have to sleep again, so I have enough sleep to do it all over again. And it doesn't really change after high school. Whether you go in early or you come out late or you do overnight, you'll start to realize that your weekdays, you maybe have 5 to 6 hours a day, of free time, which seems like a lot. But as an adult, you have a lot more responsibilities. You have a lot more to deal with, and that's a lot to overcome. Especially at a young age as being a young adult. And now I don't necessarily have a lot of experience with this because I've only been at my full-time job almost 2 years now. But I do have my own place, and I do live on my own, sort of, kind of behind my parents' property. When you have a place to take care of, you have a girlfriend to take care of, or boyfriend, or pets to take care of. You have friends that are over a lot. You'll quickly realize the time you have is not much at all. And I'm incredibly thankful for my current job. It's not demanding whatsoever, and it works really well. And I can't necessarily relate to the 9 to 5 too much because mine is a 6 to 3. In a lot of ways, way better, in my opinion. A lot of people will think, oh no, man, that must suck. Getting to work at 6. But honestly, I love it. I absolutely love it because I get to go to bed around 9 and what I would on a school night, and I get off at 3. Having that afternoon, being home from 3:30, all the way till I got to go to sleep at 9 is incredible. It still feels like you have your day left. I have a very lucky shift. Most people are not that fortunate. They have to work what a normal 9 to 5 is, or an 8 to 4, and that's a bigger difference than what you think. Because not only do you have to stay up later before you go to sleep, but you have less hours during the day to do stuff. You start pushing into the nighttime, the later you wake up to go to work. And I always say 9 to 5s are like the absolute worst to have because they're right dead center in the middle of the day. And this is why I don't like afternoon shifts or late night shifts, because to me personally, when I wake up for the day and I don't go to work and I have several hours before I go into work, my mindset is, oh shit, I gotta go to work later. There's nothing I can do because I got work later. And my mind's so stuck up on, oh, I don't want to go into work later. I don't want to go into work later. You have all this time to go into work, and you can work your schedule out to where you don't wake up in the morning. You wake up in like the evening or whatever, which is what I recommend anybody do, depending on, you know, the kind of home life they got and what they got to get done. But waking up to work means the world, because then you're not sitting there overthinking. And don't give yourself too much time to get ready either. Give yourself exactly enough time to get ready, get going, with a little bit of cushion to get to work early. And I think that will help with your delusion of time. When it's in the middle of the day like that, you wake up and you're like, oh, I got a couple hours before work. And then you're going to sit there and be lazy and sit on your phone the whole time before you have to get ready and go to work, because all you can think about is, oh, I have to go into work. And then after work, at 5, if you normally wake up around, I don't know, 7 before your 9 to 5, and then you get home from work at 5:30, 6, you got maybe 3-4 hours before you align with your sleep schedule. That's not enough time to do anything. You know, it's enough time to get showered. It's enough time to sit in your phone for about 45 minutes, and then you're done. And especially when you have a significant other and other responsibilities, it's impossible. It feels like 5 days of your week are completely useless. And he's getting to the point, it might be a he, it could be a she, I'm not certain, I'm just gonna reference he. He's getting to the point that, okay, this is my life after school now. Why is most of my time taken up by work with little free time? And when you really put it together, 6 hours of free time times 5 times, which is 30, plus I don't know, 22 hours of free time you have on the weekends, combined, you're looking close to like 40-ish% of your time that you have awake goes to work. And you're sitting there thinking, why do I live in a society that, in order to provide for myself, in order to be on my feet, I have to spend half of my time here on Earth, that I'm conscious and awake, doing something I don't want to do, doing something that doesn't really mean that much when you look at it from a bigger standpoint. It is a lot. The workload is a lot. And, you know, there's a lot of people that work a lot more, and they, you know, hash on people for working just 40 hours and whatnot. And, you know, they can really just get a life instead of working their ass off. But I think it's a tough world with how fortunate you are to get a decent schedule at a good full-time job. And it depends if you love it or hate it. You make money and hate it, or you know, you don't make that much money and you love it, or, you know, hell, the worst case scenario, you don't make much and you still fucking hate it, which is a lot of people, if not most people. And that's why there's so much media and culture, at least in America, that is revolving around hating the 9 to 5 job. And there's so much, you know, advertisements and scams and stuff, and you're like, hey, do you want to get out of your 9 to 5, do this. And it's really eye-catching to a lot of people, because, man, they hate their fucking life, because they don't know how to manage their time properly. They don't know how to form a hobby with the time they have. And they don't set themselves up to be fortunate enough to have time in the future. If you don't have time now, you're too busy with stuff, set yourself up a plan to get that time in the future. That way you're not sitting there forever, you know, not being able to manage your time. And everybody's not super efficient at time. Even the most successful people on the planet, they wake up and they sit on their phones for like the first 2 hours of their day. You know, nobody's perfect with that. And you don't want to sit there and micromanage every little minute you have. In fact, that's the exact opposite of what you want to do. But you also don't want to be on your phone so damn much. And that's why I make this content. Even though you have to be on a device to watch me, you know. But my point is that getting off your phone and spending some time reflecting these things, and reflecting what you can do to improve your life, be less stress-free, and spend your time properly, it means the world. It's what sets you up. These things are very important with whatever full-time job, whether you're, you know, in high school or you're already working a full-time job now. It's still important to know that you can manage your time better. There is a way to get to a point, at least, to manage your time better. You need to set yourself up in the proper environment and set yourself up around the proper people and get some shit done. Get some stuff moved out of the way. Get some loans moved out of the way. Grind. Spend some time saying, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. This is great and I love doing this. In order to be less stress-free throughout the day and not overthink as much, I need to clear my schedule a bit. There's things that you think are dire to do, or you have to do this one thing, or you do this thing all the time, but sometimes you just need to sit back and be like, you know what? I don't need to be doing this anymore. I need to be focusing on different things. And, you know, a lot of times, anytime you make those decisions, you think they're, oh, yeah, I'm so motivated. I'm going to go do this. I'm gonna manage my time better. And then the next day, you're sitting there back at your phone. I'm probably calling a lot of you out and myself out on that one. Actually executing, putting in the repetition, managing your time better means the world. And that is the life of an adult. Unfortunately, the 40-hour standard is brutal sometimes. And I'm fortunate to be where I am. But yes, it is unfortunately how life works and the way life is set up. At least in America, that is our structure. That is our foundation. You know, maybe if the economy wasn't so bad, if you have a significant other, which I recommend most people have at some point, it's not really your choice, but second incomes, third incomes, figuring out being roommates with a trusted individual or trusted friend is very important. That way y'all may not have to work as much, and you'll get to that point. Maybe you have a group of friends that is, you know, not super drama filled, and is actually about business, and ready to get down to freeing yourselves up, getting yourselves on a track to where you can save, not make super big purchases like a 4-year loan on a vehicle, but doing these things can make that life a lot less overwhelming. I wasn't overwhelmed by this fact when I started my first full-time job because it didn't sink in fully until I had it, how little time I had and how little time I had to work on things. For example, like this channel, and another channel I was working on, and so many other channels I've been working on my whole life. I've been trying to do YouTube since I was like 12, 13, 14. On and off, I've been on different channels and different things, trying out different things. I've been on YouTube my whole life. I have more experience on YouTube than a lot of YouTubers do without the success because I never committed. I never had the proper setup and environment and willpower to push through, and that's tough. Everyone's moms were correct. Everybody's parents was correct. It is that damn phone. In most of these videos, I have some proper way to manage things a lot better, or get through it, or just sacrifice this thing to get rid of this thing to be able to help out with that. But in reality, this question is honestly just speaking the truth. I can't help but say there is really no way out of it. I don't like using this phrase, but toughening up is what we do as adults. It only gets more difficult, more responsibilities are added, and just more pressures are added. And what we do as an adult, and if you can achieve this at a young age, being able to actively manage your stress level, how much you have on your plate, is crucial. So that way you don't get backed up, you don't get bogged up, you don't become this big bottle of emotions, you know, ready to unleash because you're tired of this 9 to 5. And, you know, my moral is not say, oh yeah, you're fucked. You know, this is life. My moral is that we can do better as a society to manage our time and stay away from these distractions, that's keeping us from enjoying our time and actually going into work with, you know, a smile. Even if you hate your fucking job, it does wonders to just clear your home life up and feel productive every day. And then you can go into work and be like, this is not so bad. This really isn't as bad as it really could be. And being able to see that viewpoint is very crucial. And I think it will do a lot of people wonders. This topic was interesting to me because I value my time so much, almost to the point where it makes me not productive anymore because I'm worried about the lost time. It's ironic, but worrying too much about how you spend time, especially as a young adult, and commonly thinking you're running out of time is irrelevant, and it keeps you from living in the moment. It's a loop of losing time thinking about losing time. Learning to manage this just comes with practice, and by no means am I good at it yet. But progress is being made. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about this topic below. Thanks for watching today's episode, and have a wonderful day.